there was a very interesting statement coming from Donald Trump based on a source quoting him. He said that MAGA world is starting to hate Israel. He reportedly said that to a Jewish donor. Donald Trump has several Jewish donors inside of the United States. One of his biggest donors was Miriam Edelson, who supported him with over 200 million US dollars. Edelson, same family that supports Benjamin Netanyahu and has supported him previously very, very heavily. Donald Trump is, again, of course, clearly speaking regularly with these donors. And now he's outright, according to this report, telling this donor that my people are starting to hate Israel. There are people in the White House who are watching this narrative develop in the right wing in the MAGA world that is very anti-Israel, very anti-Jewish. So, what is he trying to send here? A message to the donors, a justification for something that's about to happen, or is he just presenting a certain reality here? Why is he saying that? Well, firstly, this reality isn't new. The base that supported Donald Trump, or at least part of his base, was very much anti-genocide from the beginning. We used to hear chants of Genocide Joe when Donald Trump used to have these political rallies. Clearly, many of the people who voted for him opposed Joe Biden's foreign policy. Much of what happened and many of the reasons that people voted for Donald Trump were based on the foreign policy of the United States. Therefore, some of them were surprised. As soon as he came in, he started to have these genocidal statements. He participated with Israel against Iran. He is constantly supporting Benjamin Netanyahu. Therefore, that's something that existed a long time ago, even before the US elections took place. However, with time, there was a growing change in what is called the right wing. Now, more and more prominent figures who are considered to be right wing are criticizing Israel heavily, and that's something that concerns Israel very much. Israel is very sensitive about the way it's perceived in the United States and in other European capitals, primarily with what is labeled the right wing, because they used to like how easily manipulated some of the right wingers, especially with things that are joint to Israel and people who are considered to be right wing in relation to Islamophobia, Israel's supremacy, and racism, because Israel always thrives on these divisions and people hating other nations for no reason. All of this racism, all of this narrative. Even Benjamin Netanyahu, when he was criticizing the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he had a very strong Islamophobic tone to try and be more attractive to elements within the right wing who share the same view of Benjamin Netanyahu in relation, for example, in this case, to Islam or Muslims. But of course, that is changing heavily amongst many who are considered to be in the right wing in the United States, because this war, this genocide inside of the Gaza Strip, like we call it Al-Kashifa, Al-Harb Al-Kashifa, or the all-revealing war. It's exposing everything, everyone, and also making people dig back, look back at history and how they were manipulated up until that stage where they had this awakening over all of the narrative that they were being fed constantly, brainwashing and manipulation. And Donald Trump, despite the fact that he tried to continue down this path with Benjamin Netanyahu, he can clearly see that it's failing amongst a large chunk of his base. Many people are totally not satisfied with Donald Trump. Now, some of them are saying that Donald Trump is playing this 4 or 5D chess game. He's trying to actually get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu and trying to take America out of this, grip, as they're calling it, so that he can finally liberate the United States, which is something not exactly correct. And also it requires a lot of analysis, this whole theory. And at the end of the day, when you are the president of the United States, whether you have people backing you or there is pressure or you have the power to make decisions. And if you make a decision to stand with a country, that is your decision because you hold the power. Anything after that or before that is irrelevant, because then we would only be talking about theories. And even if you have evidence or limited evidence to back that theory, at the end of the day, you're talking about theories and you are taking the responsibility away from the people who should be held responsible. Whether there's a group of people controlling Trump or the United States president, whether there's this massive group of people running things, that shouldn't be our concern when there is an address. And that address is the decision maker who is implementing the policies and who is making the statements. If he has someone behind him, if he has someone poking him, at the end of the day, it's his job. Therefore, he is the person who is responsible. But some people try and, make Donald Trump appear to be as a person who isn't really intending anything bad, right? And that he genuinely is an America first type of person, and he doesn't want wars globally. Therefore, they would try any theory to justify his actions. And that is not a healthy way to analyze and in a real manner. At the end of the day, if you have someone making decisions, that person is our address and is the person that should be held responsible.